sweeter than Carriacou Nana. You see this little piece of rock, full of beauty, full of vibes. Carriacou nice, sweet paradise. Every morning when I rise up, I see beauty in my eyes. Sweet paradise, boy. Come in the Caribbean sea.
Good day to your viewers. Hi, hello, and welcome. The last time you saw this face in our video, it was during or just prior to the Regatta Festival. And I remember us saying that Mr. Joseph is so knowledgeable that we have to come back. Of course, everyone should know his face by now. The great Mr. Leo Joseph.
Leo Joseph.
You said that the last time, Macy. Of course, he's a cultural icon on the island and a businessman as well. So people, if you're coming for kayak mass, accommodation, rooms already booked out. Mr. Joseph is the owner of Mermaid Beach Hotel, that lovely hotel just at the seafront with the swing. People always talk about the swing on the almond tree and Calalo restaurant. Good day to you, Mr. Joseph.
How do you do? Good day, listeners.
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Surviving and feeling okay. No, when you, at this stage in your life, when you have no serious pain, you have to see your button 500.
Of course, yes. Thank God for that. Thank God, because a lot of younger people than you are, they're really complaining so many aches and pains. But I just came and I saw even your treadmill, you exercise.
Every day?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Better than some people?
Yes, my old bike have to never, otherwise I'm able to walk around.
Exactly.
And then as much as we could do it, almost probably 5 days a week, we go swimming.
Oh, really? You do that?
Yeah, in the morning.
What time of the day?
But 5:30 in the morning.
I was about to ask if it's in the afternoon. So you wake up to get down to the beach for 5:30?
Yeah.
You're very healthy.
Well, but see, as somebody, I have no place to go in the evening time. I go to bed whenever I want to. But what's best for us? And we have a class of about 6, 7 of us. Maybe sometimes 5, sometimes 4, but we go sometimes as many as 8. And there's a penalty for reaching late. They said they're implementing what we used to have in Hillsborough Government School. When you reach late, they send it to the headmaster. So even now, when you reach late for swimming, they send it to the principal.
Oh, really?
And it's fun, just you know,
right.
we talk about that. So, but it's a very good thing for us. I mean, the guys who participate every morning, we can ask for anything better. I mean, it's the best exercise you could have. It's a good way to start the day. And best of all, it's free.
Yes, energized.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, nice.
So when you get there late, what, you swim 10 minutes extra?
they would be able to implement that if only those who would be punished, you had some control over them. You can't. You know, we just listen.
Yes,
we'll talk. Yeah, we go.
Nice. So the last time when we came here, we were speaking about your involvement in regatta and sailing in Carriacou, and you gave us a good history. And for those of you who are viewing this and have never seen it, then you can go to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel to look at that. So today we'll be doing 2 sets of interviews. One on Carriacou Carnival, because we are in the season of kayak mass, and following that, Big Drum Nation dance, which is unique to us, one of our culture here on the island. So first we'll start with Carnival, of course. Mr. Joseph, what time of the year, I mean long ago, because you just mentioned you're not as young as the guys are now. I mean, we don't want to say your age, but long ago, I mean, maybe like the 50s, the 60s, you can remember Carnival then?
Yeah, I can remember Carnival, late 50s. I mean, you could get a peep at what's happening in town or around your neighborhood. The one thing that everybody was scared about is the sweet mass, the Shakespeare mass. Because in those days, if you weren't able to recite your part, you might be subjected to some bull pistol. And sometimes when the spirit is in the guys, indiscriminate, bullets are flying left, right, and center. So you have to be of such an age to be around the sweet mass thing. Huh? But as time goes on, probably coming to the 60s and so on, you get grown, and then you were able to go to town and take part in. Your parents wouldn't allow you to go because you don't want to get hurt. So you wait until all the sweet mass activities are over, and then you could browse around town, buy a little sugar cake, a little ice cream, and so on and so forth. But then after you grew up, a teenager, and you could be part of it, see what is really happening in town. And again, those were some crucial and enjoyable times, if you could say that. You had people, when you see, and the days of sweet mass back then, Carriacou was divided in two. Banra in the south and Hero in the north. So a Hero would encompass probably, some parts of 6 roads going up to Montreal and so on and so forth. And the Banra will be Bellevue, Belmont, Abbeville, Leicester. And so they will all live their various villages and will meet at 6 roads. Then there you have to fight for what back then they called for king or peacemaker. And the king is often the guy who is best able to recite the Shakespeare plays. I'm not even quite sure if the guys knew in some instances what they were doing, what they were talking about, but they know the passages, so they recited them. And it's your duty when one side, one gentleperson speaks his piece, you have to be able to reciprocate and do so effectively. Otherwise, again, you'll be subjected to a few strokes of the bull pistol. And that will go on back and forth, and they'll meet in 6 roads, and there you have the start of the competition for king. And when that is done, then they come down to Hillsborough. And just to, for once or better word, display what they've just completed in 6 roads. Again, the same thing, the best knowledge of the passages and how it's recited. And then the king will be crowned king, and the peacemaker will be crowned peacemaker, and all those good things. And then, but that was on Tuesday, no?
Right.
But on Mondays, you would get dressed up and come to town, walk up and down, listen to the Steelbands. And of course, back then there were quite a few bands. Just about every village in Carriacou had a steel band. You had from, Topville, Mount Pleasant, Bogles, Winwood, even Leicester, Brunswick, and 6 roads. Basie's grandfather played for North Stars. It was 6 roads band. Back then, they were the band to beat in Carriacou. So I could remember all of us as kids will make up our own little steel band stick and put in your pocket. It's like a pen, so that you who calling yourself Moose, who calling yourself Vonis, and so on, that type of stuff, imitating the giants of the day. And I could remember one Suey, and 6 roads was then the band to beat. Until, that went on for a very long time. And but before I even get to that, I would want to tell you that probably Leicester is who I know to have the first steel band in Carriacou. Guys like Anthony Francis, and Lady Samo. Lady Samo, older brothers, Norris and Butty. And those guys used to be playing pan around the neck, that type of stuff, But then it wasn't too long before all the villages got their own band. And those were responsible for, say, a Christmas Eve night. The bands from the different villages, they used to have, leading up to Christmas, as they have 9 mornings in St. Vincent, they used to have what you call road march in Carriacou. So at any given time, you'll have probably Bogle's band tonight, road march in town, or Leicester band tonight, road march in town, or 6 road night. and everybody's taking part in that because leading up to Christmas, that kind of spirit. We didn't have the usual parang. We had parang, yes, but not as organized because that came later through my boy from Montreal is in England. What's his name again? Bentley.
Bentley.
Yes, there is a different parang. So parang in the sense that the songs will be sung and Picong will be sung and people's business will be discussed.
Right.
But so back then, your parents will tell you, especially if you're a young lady, be careful what you do because they don't want your name to end up in carnival violin. Understand? Because when they go to sing about you, and carnival will be playing it, so they don't want your name to end up in carnival violin. Yes. So that's what the parang back in those days used to be. That's what it was all about. Right.
So let's go back to Carnival. Carnival. What period, what time of the year was the Carnival held? Is it like now, pre-Lenten festival before Ash Wednesday?
Yes. Trinidad. Just about all the islands in even the Grenadines, probably you could say from Dominica come down, and including Grenada and Trinidad. But what has been customary, Trinidad has always been the zenith. Trinidad is the best. So in times, people in diaspora would be coming back and forth and so on. And Trinidad was always overshadowing everybody else. So I think it was prudent and somebody was wise enough to say, let's remove Grenada from the shadows of Trinidad. The only downside to that, though, is that Grenada being what it is, sometimes we refer to it as Rainada. So Carnival moving from the dry season to that type of year, rainy season, you're likely to get drenched. In Carnival of today, it wasn't as wet then as it is now. Because you're talking about dry season, it was Carnival before, and it moved to August. So that is why we have those different dates.
So that's why we have two carnivals now.
Right. Well,
so what, Carriacou decided they're not moving to August, they're keeping it as a pre-Lenten festival?
It was a reason for that. So. Because then you see, Carriacou's regatta then was the biggest festival in Carriacou.
Right.
So we didn't want to destroy that regatta.
Right.
But we still wanted a carnival. So if you were to say to observe Carnival in August, it wasn't good for us. So we wanted to have our cake and eat it too. So we kept that date for Carnival and we could still have a regatta in August.
Nice.
And the benefit of that too, though, is that people coming to visit, especially a Carriacou and Grenada, you could come down to experience regatta. And then after regatta, you go straight into Carnival. So you got 2 for 1.
Yes.
So that's basically the reason why it was moved to and why Carriacou kept its own.
2 for 1 summer events.
Yes.
Right. So like how we have a packed weekend of activities now. Long ago, I mean 50s, 60s, was it like that, starting from the Friday, and then like how we have the mass bands, the fancy mass bands, and we have Calypso competition, the Camberley and all that. Let's
we had Calypso competition, but what used to lead up to Carnival, just as you see the Christmas season, you have the various bands will be entertaining at different times in town or in the different villages. And mind you, all the different villages will be preparing their mass and so on and so forth. So people will be in that mood and spirit. You don't have, see, all those shows as we do have now, and different bands coming from abroad. We didn't have too much of that. But the villages were involved in the preparation for Carnival. And people like Eli Thompson, we call it Tatai. Lester, you have to be in Tatai band. The same, so you could say, as Miss Millicent up in Montreal and so on and so forth. And throughout the village, just Lenten and Happy Vale Belmont, everybody's preparing that. And it was more interactive. You have more people and more Carriacouans taking part in Carnival as opposed to today. I worry the day when, if I hope the mainlanders don't get tired of us, because if they withdraw the support, it'll be for naught. And that's one of the things you try to tell the Carriacouans. This is your festival, be part of it. Everybody wants to be a spectator.
Right.
That's not what it's about. If we have all spectators and no participants, the thing wouldn't be as good as it should be. So that's what I dread.
It takes us to make it happen.
Exactly so. Exactly so. Because just for an example, when we didn't have too many competitions or the mainlanders were tired of us yet, back in the day when regatta was regatta, and when they probably had their fill and they organized Rainbow Festival, we suffered great.
Right.
The crowd was taken away from us, and we suffered. And we didn't have anything planned or happening then to be able to sustain our festival at the level we had it.
I think the Grenadines, people used to come over, they're still coming over for the regatta.
Oh, yes, of course. The Grenadines and that, not only Grenadines, they come St. Vincent to come down.
Yes.
And, but on mainland Grenada, even Trinidad, they take a very active part in festival, but it's just not the same. Actually, the product that we afford is not as good as it was. So it explains why.
Yeah. So tell us about Camberley back then. What's Camberley about? I mean, for someone that do not know about its origin or what it's about, what can you say?
Well, we call it Camberley, but that's Cansvule, which means goodbye. Cansvule.
Okay.
Goodbye to the flesh, And back then, Lenten season was a very sacred time. So you enjoy yourself and you're fed up and you exhaust all the good things in life before you come into that period. Okay. So one good thing was happening that time. Well, around Cansvule, peas bearing it. So enough peas and corn pork and all these things eating. But because when Carnival come and Lent come in, no more corn pork, no more all these good times, no singing Calypso, no, you can't even whistle in the road and so on and so forth. Lenten season was sacrosanct. So that's what the Camberley that we're talking about. That's our way of having as much fun as we could before we have to go in that quiet area. I could remember back then, what you used to, and it was so sickening because for Carnival, you hear all the nice songs, all the new releases, all the hit songs, and then Lent come, you can't sing it. You can't sing the bloody thing. So it was sort of a punishment, really. So you should wait, hope, and when Easter Sunday come and Easter Monday, as a matter of fact, back then we had 3 funks before. We had Easter Monday, well, New Year's Day, Boxing Day, August Monday, extended the dances in our school, It related in the 60s when we came about and started violating, if you will, and not adhering to all the protocols and the seriousness we had, that we started having weekly or even monthly dances and fetes. No, you used to pray for Easter Monday to come. You used to have a fete. The next one will be August Monday. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay. So the how you pronounce it? Cansvule?
Cansvule.
Okay, so it was just a build-up. So you have as much fun, you eat as much of meat, and you just enjoy yourself, because after that you're going into that sacred moment.
Remember we're talking about cans, that's the flesh, The meat,
yes.
Cansvule.
Okay.
Whoa.
Now I understand the reason.
But in Carriacou, we have a good history of spoiling things as they're supposed to be called.
Right.
But we get by with it. They're talking about Cambuli.
Yes, it's
Cansvule, but Cambuli. That's how we know it, and that's how we understand it. Really.
And then now it is the night before Juve. In the 60s, you all had Juve as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, yes.
But not with oil oil.
No, not the jab. We had jab too. But jab was few and far between. You had a few fellas playing jab. Somebody get them out red and have a sup in a box and so on and so forth. That was jab.
Oh, yes.
But no, it wasn't as predominant. No.
Okay.
It means only of late. I mean, jab is that predominant. We had Wild Indian. As I must confess that Veco is something that I experienced just a few years ago in work for the first time. We didn't know anything about Veco. We had what do you call
Shotney?
it? No. Yes. Well, the Shotney and Wild Indian, we used to say. And I wanted the Shotney. is to extent was Shakespeare in a certain extent.
It's similar.
Similar.
Yes,
the costumes
similar.
and the mirrors and all those good things.
The uniform is similar.
It's similar. Similar, yes, very much so. Very much so. We had that too, yes.
Okay.
But we didn't have, because the chutney is, the chutney wasn't as Shakespearean as our thing, even though the costumes were similar. When you hear about chutney, it was describing a certain element of a John sort of thing. You know, chutney man's is that you associate with Chantimel and those type of things, chutney man's. That's how we looked at it. But we were, once for a better word, wild Indian.
Okay.
And those kind of things was a little more on the peaceful side sort of a thing. That's my interpretation of it.
Okay. So now we have the Queen Show. You had that back then as well?
Oh, yeah.
We had Queen Show as well?
Yeah, Queen Show. Let me tell you something. The problem is that back in the day in Carriacou, we always prayed for an uncle. The other side of an uncle is when they clap you down. If your performance is good, and it reminds me of the gong show in America. They let you know loud and clear. And when you start to sing or you start to perform and they find that you're not good enough, and wait for you to finish. So a lot of people end up crying, a lot of people end up fainting when they clap you down. It wasn't a good experience. Yeah, we had all those good things. Yes, we had those things.
Do you remember anybody that went up for Queen?
Oh yeah.
Let me test your memory.
Somebody comes.
We're talking about in the 60s.
Yeah, somebody comes to mind immediately. Is Mrs. Steele Brandview?
Oh, sure.
She was a pretty queen, and
she went up for Queen?
Oh yeah, she was a convincing winner, I must admit. Even though we were competitors, but she was quite good, surely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good. And then I remember a Cox girl came from Dover, but pretty as an incher. And here Cleophas Eman saying, boy, Sin Cox wicked we. Sin Cox never tell somebody you have this pretty girl in your house. And she won. I can't remember. Yes, she was good too. And well, who I can remember again? That's so many folks, boy.
Okay, so now that we're naming people, we name one or two of the Queen contestants or the Queen. You remember any Calypsonians back then?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Well, first one you know best is Banfield Bristol was Mighty Slimy.
Mighty Slimy?
Yeah.
He was good?
Yeah, he was crowned king for quite a few times.
Oh, nice.
So you had Slimy. What about Brother Ned?
Yes.
It's an easy boy who long Polly. Brother Ned was match king too.
Okay.
Brother Ned, you had the Mighty Ants, the Mighty Miley, the Mighty Black Hat, the Mighty, who else again? Gospel Skin. All these guys, yes, man. Mighty Sandy Pro. All these guys. But then, back then, the Calypso was a very high standard, you know, and sometimes even the suggestive songs, you know, as you reflect on them, they were quite good. They were quite good, yes, man.
I know Clint Father was gospel, or the Mighty Gospel. He participated in Carriacou just in Grenada. I heard you mention Gospel Skin.
No, Gospel.
I wonder if it's the same person.
No, Gospel Skin was from Javier.
Oh, okay, so that's a different person.
Some fellas make a nasty plan to go and steal Milan. That was Gospel Skin.
You remember?
Oh, yeah. And,
you have vivid memory.
Yes, man. And the mighty Slimy. And you could draw a parallel to what's happening today. I'll tell you what, the Premier's visit here recently is just a political move, as I could see. Giving presents, making promises, as though the whole of this land he wants to be his. But if all kayaks had a man like me, they stay with the day and to hell was GULP. But instead, he have a bad talk the mother. Some of them give away the daughter. A lot mama guy and bring old talk just for Gary to give them work.
Mr. Joseph used to sing or used to write?
Write and arrange.
I can tell.
Yeah,
you have something in you.
Yeah, but you see, and then there was Black Hat from Bogles.
Okay.
Who sang about Leave Her Alone. And I could remember the chorus going like this. I say, you come quite here and you're waiting she. You don't have no damn respect for me. But you see this water you watch you with, if you catch cold and swell, you should.
That is Kaiser. What?
Yeah, man.
You're giving them guys and them now a little hint of what to write about.
Yeah. Black artist, man. And you, of course, you had the roofing. And something that they were saying that Carriacou had Calypso King. Well, he is the only one that from Carriacou that was Calypso King in Grenada for more than once. That's the lion.
In Grenada?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Grantis Kojo?
Oh, yeah. Grantis Lion Couture.
Yes.
Oh,
The lion,
yes.
And his older brother Rufin,
Ah,
who was quite good. Rufin was a comedian. And then Rhino mentioned him in the song.
yeah.
Yeah, Rufin and the guys who preceded people like Rhino. Which, boy, God, every time I think about Rhino, you want to cry. That was
He's so arresting.
that was one of
He was
very great losses and great talent. You're just that good. Rhino was good. Yeah, but he mentioned people like Rufin and so on, and a lot of fellows that yes, one Calypso was infested with Calypsonians. Every village you could get a Calypsonian from a village. Called Sandy Pro, which you what? Oh, and it's not. He was talking about the judging in Carriacou, and you're saying that it's no big deal to get judges from La Trinity. The judges that will know Tom Dick from Harry in Carriacou. And so when the songs are sung, then they'll be judged properly. But when you get all these people in Carriacou who have their own parties to be judges, things can be done fairly. As the songs were suggesting. And that's Sandy Pro. Incidentally, back then too, he played with us in Sun Bliss's combo, and he was just about probably the best lead guitarist in Carriacou at the time. Yeah, so those guys were involved, and he was a good pan player too. Pan player, guitar, and so.
Just like yourself.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, come from that era. Come from that era, yes. The sort of unfortunate thing about us, boy, the talent we had here, if we only had well-said institutions or so to give us some more training and to really take advantage of the talent that was in Carriacou, sky would have been the limit.
Yeah. Training is a big thing, eh?
Oh yeah.
Training is a big thing, starting with the children, and because once they have it, it's there for generations to come.
I tell you what, the zenith of masquerade in Carriacou, as far as I could remember, Tyrell Frank and Dixie Stars back in 65, played mass entitled Three Faces of the Ancient. The Aztecs, the Indians, and that. You have sections, as you see in Trinidad, because two Tyrell and so were living in Point Forte, in Trinidad. So they brought what they experienced with them back into Carriacou. And that since that 1965, Carriacou has never been. That year in 65, you had regatta start for the first time. You have Dixie Stars and that mass Two Faces of the Ancient. Carriacou was right on top.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we can, and I don't think it could be duplicated. Oh, yeah, it really, 65, I'll pay any money to relive 65 in Carriacou. Yeah, Carriacou was very flourishing. Then we went in New York, we went to Nimrod John's house. But Nimrod John was who I thought was the most skilled wire bender was his brother Shillingford. Shillingford is as good as you would get it. You would compare him to anybody in China. He just had it naturally. The costumes and everything is bent wires, and you see, Queen of the Band and those type of things.
We had some wonderful fancy mass bands.
Oh yeah. You should. I wish we had, but then again, we have no way of recording what was happening back then.
If you had social media.
Wow. If you had footage of what was happening back then. You know, I must, to that end, you should always thank, and we were not smart enough. And now that I look back on it, there was a gentleman here, Bill Cameron.
Okay.
He's English, but he came here and taught at Bishop's College for the longest time. He was busy with a camera. Everything is filming or snapping, and so that is why even today a lot of the footage that we have is that we got from Bill. Bill, somebody as Bill, another guy who was quite good at that was Don Hill.
Downhill.
The guy documented so much of what Carriacou had to offer.
So have you seen any documentaries from Bill or anything?
No, just some still photos, yes, of some carnival scenes here in Carriacou. Yes, we
Oh,
have.
so you have some photos?
Yeah, yes, you have some photos, some footage. But I haven't seen any footage of 65, which I thought was the best year. But a couple of years that so we have some footage that was done by Bill Cameron.
Okay. I remember you spoke about Shakespeare Mass a while ago. Back then they had the protective piece at the back.
Yeah, but not only the back, you had some sort of cutter.
Right, the cutter.
Right. You didn't bull on your head, you know.
Right.
You better be protected, or else you'll be affected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard as well, I remember when we did an interview with Uncle Tom in Montreal, he said that the women came out, as the men came out to support the women came out to support their husbands playing mass, and the men, they had a brass knuckle. It was very, very dangerous back then. And there was a place which caved in.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you know about that.
Of course. Right in Hillsborough, right opposite Bullet Supermarket. What is we know now was where they do the Lotto Center. There was so much people on the roof because, again, when things get serious, you better not be around because the guys used to be coming against each other on the main street.
So it's not like now everybody, they stand up around the masked men and asking them to move away and they're not moving.
No,
that time they make you move.
You make you move because you might have been subjected to a bull. So you couldn't just like they say, if you want to play frontish, you pay for your frontishness. So people would want to see what is happening, so they took to the roof of that building, they're in the balcony now. So many of them go there, bro, and the whole roof caved in. Whole roof caved in, all people got hurt. There are so many people on that roof working with a little 2x4 as rafter.
Right.
Thing coming, it caved in, yeah. Oh, of course.
The great memories of Carnival back then.
And Carriacou, yes, man.
And then it was strictly kayaks because that time Grenada had the Carnival.
Yeah.
So mainlanders weren't coming to Carriacou.
You'd have, what you used to have is a few guys coming here from the mainland to play Wild Indian. Because that's where they came from. But other than that, you have a mainlander coming to Carriacou. No, everybody had their own, like they say, every tub sits on your own bottom. Everybody have their own carnival and their own mass, and people will patronize the area. Nobody from the mainland to come up here. Hardly.
And then that time YTT was kicking.
Yeah. Back then, well, it was back then it was Sun Blisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did the name change from Sun Blisters?
Bob Adams. I had to remind him that, but I didn't think could remember that he was responsible for it, because when we started our little band here, and looking for a name, nobody could decide what the name should be. So we named ourselves after another group in Barbados called Blue Rhythm Combo. Okay. And when Bob Adams came here from England, before he came here as Bob Adams and the Limits, our little local band, we backed him. And then he was saying, why you guys call yourself Blue Rhythm? Why not something that depicts your area? The sun, the blisters of the sun, that kind of thing. So I just took them, we changed them from Blue Rhythm to Sun Blisters. Okay. And we kept it for as long, even when I left it was still Sun Blisters. Okay. But the band was always maintaining a very high standard, arguably the best band in Carriacou. So, but you know, when you're number one, you're the ripe mango on the tree. Everybody trying to stone you down. So after a few years, while I was gone in New York, Laurie Cummings was in charge then, called me to ask me for permission to change the name of the band. I said, no, you're not in charge. But that man, he was one loyal and respectable and decent person. He knew that there was somebody before him that was responsible, so he just wanted to share that thing. I said, no, go ahead and call it what you want. What do you want to call the band? He said me YTT. I couldn't. YTT? Why YTT? He told me where I'm. People are always critical of the band. So you want to give them a pick up now to say, well, we were there yesterday, we'll be there today and tomorrow. And that's how the YTT came about, Laurie Cummings. The late Laurie Cummings, he died just a few years ago. Okay. And he left us without having one of his biggest desires fulfilled. He was plaguing me. We must have a YTT reunion in Carriacou. Oh. That never happened. The one thing, there's somebody who came here last year. He is the son of a pan tuner called Lloyd Gay, who was brought here in 1969 to tune pans for Solar Symphony in Leicester. And his father was telling him, when you go to Carriacou, these are the guys you must look for. So he came here and he was asking me, boy, my father said, I must come and check all you out, boy. And he said, I must check on Laurie. I said, oh God, to check on Laurie is long gone, But he was able to call, he video called his father and that. So we had a nice conversation last year. The guy's name is Lloyd Gay. Another story with another experience in the making, but for another time.
All right.
Yes.
So, in regards to Carnival, you played the steel pan and you arranged Calypso. But you never played Shakespeare Mass.
No.
Okay.
No. And not only did I know the passages, I wasn't prepared to take any bull. So batting a crew in that regard.
I agree with you. All right. So thank you very much for this interview about Carnival and to our viewers. We're finishing Carnival now and look forward to the other one where we speak about Big Drum and Mr. Joseph's involvement in Big Drum Nation Dance. Thank you very much.
Thanks.